Hi, everybody. Listen, Thousand Oaks is changing. And if you've ever wanted to know what's coming next, I'm excited to have with me today my great friend, Don Lanson. Don is not only a trusted real estate and business attorney, he has been a long-term planning commissioner and has even served as chair for twice. So if you've ever wanted to know what's going on with Thousand Oaks, this is one episode you're not going to want to miss. So Don, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So I love how balanced you are between business and community, and I think that's something that the community is so lucky to have you.
It's just an amazing city that I love so much, and I want to make sure we're doing everything we can to kind of promote everybody and make sure they understand what's going on, which is why this is great to give information back to everybody.
Yeah, love it. So a lot of people ask a lot of questions, and just kind of what's on the docket, what's on your docket that you're working on right now for the city of Thousand Oaks?
Funny you should ask that question because I have a hearing tonight for my planning commission that I am part of. But first of all, last week Amgen announced that they're going to be contributing up to $600 million on a new research and development facility, which is going to be on their campus. They're going to actually get rid of one of their buildings and build a brand new structure there. My planning commission tonight is actually with regard to a project for up to 15 commercial buildings at the end of Rancho Conejo, beyond where Amgen is, that could be used for other biotech companies. So we are looking at this point, if this goes forward, it could be a major new kind of infusion of blood, so to speak, in terms of a new biotech industry in our area, on top of all the other biotech areas we have here, which could lead to ultimately not just up to 1,000 jobs for Amgen, but thousands of jobs for the other companies that may come here and use those buildings. Again, if it's approved, which I can't say if it will be, because it hasn't happened yet, but that's really the focus. My feeling at that point is that's going to make this a very desirable area for people to move to. And right now, obviously, housing prices are a little high in the area, but it may even go up higher by virtue of the fact we may have a lot of middle and even higher management jobs by virtue of these industries coming in town. So I'm really excited to see if that would happen.
We read that and we agree 100%. We think that we've lost some of the middle and higher end jobs in the last couple of years, and we think that we were so excited that Amgen's coming back, and we love that all this new development to try to bring middle and higher level employees back into the Conejo Valley.
It's tough too because again our whole economy has changed. Obviously the mall is having more difficulties, retail is having difficulties. Obviously, even an Amazon Fresh store closed because people were buying more online. So that shows you how the process is changing. But again, this is a great potential for the city that I'm really excited about.
So the Oaks Mall, you mentioned the Oaks Mall. Is there anything to share about the Oaks Mall and what's maybe happening with the Oaks Mall?
We had thought as the Planning Commission that when it's sold last year, at the end of last year, that the new owners would actually look towards housing. Based on what I've heard in an article that was posted, I think a week or two ago, it looks like the new owner is not looking to put housing there, at least at the moment, and maybe looking to break up the properties and sell them. That's not what we envisioned. We'd hope that at some point the mall would be kind of re-energized again by housing, but that doesn't look like it's right now on the plan.
All right, Thousand Oaks Boulevard. It's been really revitalized. There's a lot going on. What can you share about Thousand Oaks Boulevard?
So for 8 years I've been in the Planning Commission. We've been working on this since then. And last year we did update our general plan to add the ability of, I think, about 15 to 20,000 new housing units in and around Thousand Oaks Boulevard. We did that to allow more flexibility for the owners on Thousand Oaks Boulevard to incorporate mixed use, to incorporate housing, and also then to preserve some of the single-family home zoning that we have in the city. So again, right now, owners up and down the boulevard are some of them are taking advantage of it. 1710 and 299, they did. As you probably have seen if you've driven by the Kmart site, it's finally actually breaking ground and doing some grading. There's a place called the Sanctuary that's actually in Newberry Park. That is actually almost done. I think it's about 75% done. So we're getting some housing coming on the market. The problem is it's going to be all for rent, because right now the profit margin isn't such that it makes sense for owners to actually sell the land or sell the property. So it's unfortunate right now. It looks like everything I see is for rent.
Yeah, it's hard because we just don't have the space to do new development.
I was saying before, from Santa Barbara to San Diego, every place you can build seems to be all built out. So unless we look at open space or some place that's covered by the SOAR initiative or other places like that, we are basically built out. So we're only doing infill projects, taking land away or revising land. In fact, that's what the state really wants us to do by virtue of various different propositions. SB 9, which allows you to take down a property and put up a duplex. or add ADUs, which you can do on any property throughout the state, which really means there is no single-family zoning in the state of California by virtue of ADUs. So it's a changing process.
Are you seeing a lot of ADUs?
We've had a number of them here. The problem is that they're expensive. Right now, to build anything is maybe up to $1,000 a square foot, which people don't really realize when they have the room, which is great. But to spend $100,000 to $150,000 on that might be a little bit much. But yes, we are seeing some people take advantage of it because you can separately rent them. And in some areas, not in Thousand Oaks, but in some of them, you actually can sell those areas.
Separate address, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Separate address. Is there anything going on as far as vacancies that you want to share, like just in general about Thousand Oaks?
So first of all, you actually asked about Thousand Oaks Boulevard. We do have
Yes.
a general plan, a campus plan, which we're getting bids for to try to revitalize and have a downtown. Our city was never set up for a downtown. It was always very distant and separate. I always refer to it as points of light throughout the city, but we're trying to actually get a downtown area that would actually centralize, not like an Americana, so to speak, in terms of a Caruso Mall, but something where we actually have a place that people will go around, which is in and around the Civic Arts Plaza, that whole area. Vacancy rates, from what I understand, is offices are about 40%. There are some people looking at converting offices to maybe other uses or mixed use. Again, we have a cost factor. Retail is obviously having a difficult time. A lot of clothing places, a lot of mom and pop shops are having a tough time. So are restaurants. But with that said, we've had new restaurants open. Red O just opened the Promenade. Old Oaks Steakhouse opened on Thousand Oaks Boulevard. We obviously have the Moody Rooster and Mastro's and a lot of other good places. So we still have some good restaurants, but it's tough out there retail-wise.
Are people trying to build restaurants? Is there anything new that you want to share that is like people trying to get into Thousand Oaks?
So not restaurant-wise. I wish I had news. We actually will reach out to various different restaurant chains. Like for instance, when the Mexican place on Westlake went out of business, we tried to contact various different Larsons and Roy's and the problem is we don't have a lot of density. We don't have enough density to have two different seatings, either breakfast and lunch and dinner. So it gets tough because of that profit margin. On top of that, we've had a lot of, again, this is the legal part, because of COVID, a lot of people opened up their patios and stuff, which is great, but it added more rent, which a lot of tenants have what's called percentage rent, which after a certain gross amount, they have to pay more rent by virtue of that increase, even though they may have higher costs. So it was a weird kind of connection.
Is that why some of the people have taken their patios back?
Correct.
Oh, interesting. I was wondering why that happened.
I mean, the city extended the right to use the patio in a lot of circumstances, but some realized that they weren't making money from having that extended area, so they kind of had to...
They want their hand in it too.
Well, it's tough right there. I mean, again, the sad part is restaurants is a tough business, especially because costs are going up and tariffs and employee stuff in terms of the minimum wage issues going on. So it's tough to run a business right now.
Safety. City of Thousand Oaks is still in the top 10 as far as city of...
So this is a huge issue. So we are still in the top 10 as the safest cities. One thing I get asked all the time, why don't we do something about the homeless or the vagrants on the street? There was a rule passed last year by the Supreme Court to allow us to actually arrest people if that happens. The problem is our jails are full. We don't have room for that. So a lot of times when people say, why don't you do something, our sheriff actually is probably not going to do a whole lot if the people are not creating any other kind of violation of the law. So it's tough sometimes because there's really no place to put them. The city of Ventura has actually indicated they will charge us, the city, if in fact ultimately we do that.
Is there a lot of homeless? Are you seeing a lot of homeless?
Far less now, far less. And by the way, the sheriffs know them by name. They have a clipboard. They're always very much in contact with them. And again, it's a difficult situation. I wish there was a great answer. It's a hard question for which there's usually not a good, easy answer. But I think we're doing as best we can to try to identify them and do what we can to help them.
So full of information. We just covered a lot. Is there anything you want to add as we finish up?
One last thing.
I love
what
it.
I'm really excited about is something called the Drop Yard.
Oh, yes.
So right here next to the Hyatt, it's been a year in the making. I think it's finally getting going, which will be an outdoor area for people to kind of just have fun. It's going to have games. It's going to have a mobile stage. It's going to have food trucks. It's going to be a great area right next to the freeway, but there'll be perimeters to make sure nobody actually gets on the freeway. But that, to me, I think is going to be a great community.
And that should start breaking ground here at the end of the year, right?
Correct. I was told we were supposed to have it by the holidays, but then again, I don't
Things
know.
take a little longer,
That's
don't
true.
they?
That's
They
true.
don't they?
That's true.
So love it. So thank you for joining us and sharing all this information.
Glad to be
You're
here.
just full of information that our users, our watchers like to watch. So please follow Don Lanson and follow myself. We'll be here to give you more tips, and thank you for joining us.